Hello everyone, my name is Sketchy Macrocosm, and today I'm making this papercraft of a character named Hena. This is not my character, this character belongs to Blue Pixel on twitter.com. I have them up on the screen now. I asked them permission and they graciously let me create a papercraft of one of their characters. To get this papercraft for yourself, there's a link in the description below to my Ko-fi where the papercraft is available for free. Here I have all the pieces already cut out, so you're going to want to cut out all the pieces before you watch this video to follow along. For this craft you're going to need scissors and glue of any variety. You could also use a different type of scissors, like if you have a scalpel, or if you have a box cutter that also works. I recommend a cutting pad for that. And for other glues, you could obviously use something like an Elmer's liquid glue, or like a craft glue. Even a rubber cement could work for this papercraft. To get started, we're going to want to start with the body. This is going to be the foundation that holds up the papercraft together and that everything is balancing on. So you're going to want to fold along all of the edges where different colors meet. I tried my best to segment every part to show the line where you need to fold. So it's very easy, I think, to see on these legs each section that you should fold down. Now that you have that, we're going to apply glue to all the glue tabs. Typically, any area that is gray is going to be glued, and if it's a trapezoid shaped, then it's going to be a glue tab. And here with the legs, we're just going to want to fold them inward so that the end meets the beginning edge, so it becomes kind of a box shape. Now that we have the 2 feet, we're going to want to use these long glue tabs to attach the body together, and the length of the glue tab should match the length of the feet, so it should fit in quite nicely, putting it into the back of the leg. You can use your fingers to stick through the holes to try to pat it down nice and securely. Now that we have the body, we're going to move on to making the clothes. This is going to be the hoodie and the skirt, and again, just fold along all of the differences of color, exception to where the hoodie becomes the skirt. Okay, you're going to want to take the glue and then put it on these top glue tabs for the sides of the clothes, and we're going to fold these inwards and then create a box shape that is going to go on top of the body later. It creates a nice skirt effect as when it's 2 pieces versus 1 big body piece. Now that we have both of the body pieces, we're going to move on to the arms. It's kind of a funky shaped piece. You're going to want to fold in all of the glue tabs and then fold this arm inward, and try to make note that you delicately fold the top of the shoulder. It's a very small piece. I tried to make it a lighter color so that it's more easy to see where you should be folding. And also fold this bottom of the hand, this square. You're just going to fold it so that the edges I pointed out here, the edges line up. You're going to want to apply a glue to the bottom of both hand side pieces, similar to how we did the torso, and move them inward, attaching them to the bottom square of the hand. And then doing this back side of the arm is a little tricky. There are 2 ways to go about gluing it. I'm going to fold in all the glue tabs, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put glue on the underside of this arm and on the end glue tab of the bottom of that hand, and I'm going to try and push it down and pinch it into place on all these glue tabs. Alternatively, you could do it the other way around, where you apply glue to the glue tabs and then try to make all the edges meet nicely on each side. Either way works. It's a little bit of a challenge both ways, but if you take your time and you can kind of pinch and push places into shape before the glue dries, you can get a really nice result. As you can see here, I fiddle with it quite a lot just to make sure it looks really nice. And then we're going to do the same thing on this arm. It's the same thing but mirrored, but there is one key difference. This is the arm that is going to hold the knife, and I pointed out here, there is this slit I've indicated on here, where you're going to want to fold the paper back, grab your scissors, and you're gonna cut along it best you can, and you want to do it before you fold it because it's a lot easier to get that cut while it's still flat than when it's already folded and trying to make an incision then. Okay, and then finally we're going to move on to this headpiece, except wait, I'm pausing the video here because I've made one mistake in my process, was that there's these two black hair pieces you can see on the right side. We are supposed to glue this onto the underside, the other side of the identical hair pieces you can see on this bigger headpiece, so that when we fold it together, there's no white on the inside. I do have a fix for this later in the video that you will see, but you should glue those in now before going on to these next steps of creating the head. Okay, so just as I begin creating this, I make a point to note out, when you cut this, make sure the diagonal cuts inside reach the corners of these box. I tried to indicate it as best I could so that you get a nicer result. And then we're going to want to fold back all of these glue tabs, and then after that we're going to want to start to curl the head pieces, as you'll see me start to do here. I try to put the papers, each section between my two fingers, to use the heat of my fingers to help the paper curl better, and I'm folding it back not just 45 degrees, because it is going to be a 45-degree bend of the paper, but actually 90 degrees back so that when it folds back, it ends up being nicely at the 45-degree angle. I'm gonna do this for the sides of the hair too. This is where you can best see me using my two fingers to, really curl it as much as I can. And here you can see, once we have it curled, the head already starts to take shape. We just need to pinch in or fold in all of these main joint areas. You can see it's starting to take shape, yeah. So now we're going to apply glue to the glue tabs of the sides that are going to reach the face plane piece. You're going to want to try to align the edges of each paper as best you can. Generally, the glue tab should meet around eye level is a good general measure. And then once you have that, you're going to want to do the same thing to the back side. It's easier to start with the face, I think, because you can better see where it's going to line up. And if you have trouble with the hair here, you can of course fold it back, that top piece, so that you can better get your hands in there to ensure that the shape is nicer. This is going to be the tricky part of the hair. Once you have all the remaining glue tabs glued up, there is going to be a little slit that I'll point out where the back hair glue tabs fit in, right here. You can see the head glue tab there, and then there's a little hole below it. That's where you're going to want to stick the glue tab into best you can. If you mess up the head shape a little bit doing this, and I will here, I accidentally press in the back of the head, so instead of it popping out and being convex, I'm pushing it in and being concave to pinch the sides of the glue tab so that's nicely padded. We will fix that later, don't worry. And then for the final tab, if you're having trouble padding it in nice, the one that attaches the top of the head to the face piece, you can use your scissors and stick it in the hole like I do here. Here is where you can see I forgot to put in the hair pieces and there's white showing. So if you don't want that to happen, you can also, if you forgot like me, you can also just apply glue in and try to sneak them in right now best you can and try to make sure they just overlap as nicely as possible. So here we have all the body parts and we have the fold all put together and we just have the decoration pieces in the stand left, but we're going to put together henna. Okay, so we're going to start first with the foundation, the body, and we're going to put the clothes over top. You're going to want to apply glue to the top of that gray rectangle and just directly put the clothes over. And this is going to actually make it springy, so you can push in and you can have a little fun with it if you want. And if you're having trouble patting it down, you can use a thin object like your scissors or something else like a pencil or a chopstick if you have that available. Now you're going to apply glue to the top of the body, and you should see this rectangle should perfectly match up with the gray rectangle on the bottom of her head. So just make sure it lines up so that you have no gray peeking out. And at this point, you have the ultimate sproing. The arms, you're going to want to glue up the gray squares that were left on the arms. There's no indication of where you should put it on the body, so you can have high arms, low arms, whatever you feel looks best. And there we go, we have the main springy henna. Now all that's left is the decoration pieces like her glasses we have here. I'm just going to put glue on the middle part so that the ends, I don't want to glue it flat on her face because then it's going to take away the dimension and shadow when it comes to the curvature of the bottom of her face. After that, we're going to move on to the knife. You're just going to want to fold it in half so that both sides have graphics on them. And then there's this top glue tab that just adds dimension to it so that when we put it in her hand, it doesn't immediately fall back out. You're going to want to fold that down. And then you're going to want to glue both halves together as much as you can with that glue tab being on the inside, sandwiched between them. If you have a little white sliver left, here is a good time to just cut it off so that it looks a little nicer. A lot of the hilt will be inside the hand, so it's not that big a deal, but if you prefer that look, that's good. Oh, and you can see I also take time now to take away the white slivers of her hair. When I was trying to put it together, you can see there's a little bit of a white outline. Now is a good time to give her a little haircut if you really want her to look super pristine and clean. And then here, also a side note, if you don't like the hole that you can see on the side of her head, you can also put glue down there so that you can pat it flat so that you don't see the hole. Oh, and here you can see I'm fixing, finally, the concave area in the back of her head. You can fix it just by sprunging her up and down. She should push back into shape. Okay, and then finally we're going to put the knife in her hand. It's a little hard to get, but as long as you're holding the back of her arm and you make sure that the knife is super flat like I'm doing here, then it should go in fairly easily without too much trouble. And then yeah, once it's in, you can push it in as much as you want, whether you want a lot of the hilt to show or have it be really snug and really in her hand. And here we have it. She's all constructed, and you can see I'm shaking her around a lot to show that she's very structural, she's not going to fall apart. The only thing is she has a little trouble balancing, but she might balance on her own, but in case she doesn't, that's why I added the stand feature to it. You're going to fold back the glue tabs here, and then this top piece is just a cover. So you're going to apply glue to the entire bottom, and then we're going to put it on top and make sure that the glue tabs meet the edges of the rectangle. So it makes nice, perfect rectangular holes on the bottom. From here, we're going to add glue to the glue tabs, these long ones, and we're going to stick them on the insides of her feet. This is going to give her additional support so that she doesn't just straight up fall over every time you push her. Once you have that, you can stick your fingers in there, try to pat it dry. If it doesn't fit, then you can of course again use scissors or anything like a pen or a chopstick to help bring the glue tabs to the feet and make sure it's nice and secure with that glue. If she's leaning too much one way, like too much forward, then just push her in the opposite direction. If she's leaning too much back, then push her forward. Leaning too much forward, just push her back. And there you have it, the finished henna. Here she is, the finished henna papercraft, all constructed, put together beautifully by me. Thank you. You can see that she looks good from every angle, and all the edges are quite nice. I want to thank again Blue Pixel for allowing me to create this papercraft based on one of their tweets that I saw that I think I will put up right now on the screen. They were very gracious about letting me create this papercraft, and when I saw this tweet I was like, there's no way someone hasn't made this yet, so I wanted to make it. She's a lot of fun, she's very springy, unintentionally very springy, so you can be sure to give her a pat, make her dance, whatever you want. Thank you again for watching this papercraft video and building along with me if you printed it out. Again, if you want to create this for yourself after watching the video, I have links in the description to my Ko-fi where you can download the papercraft for free. Have a wonderful day!